Hey everybody, it's Tom Klein. This is a Better Vantage Point. This is the South Florida edition, and today we're going to talk about the Office of Foreign Asset Control. So whenever someone buys a vehicle or an RV, the dealership is required to check the customer's name against the OFAC list. OFAC standing for Office of Foreign Asset Control. And the OFAC was set up in order to require asset freezing of oppressive governments, terrorists, drug dealers, and money launderers. So it's incumbent upon the dealership to make sure that you are not selling a vehicle or an RV to someone who is on what's called the Specially Designated Nationals list, or SDN list. And the SDN list can be found at the Department of the Treasury, as that's the governmental department that oversees the Office of Foreign Asset Control. So your software provider, when you're pulling a credit bureau, should be able to scrub the names for an additional small fee. That's what I recommend. If you get a match or somebody who you think is a match, then you actually have to go onto the list, which again can be found at the Department of the Treasury, and you have to try to determine whether that person is actually a specially designated national, or their name just matches, but it's really not a match. So, and you can do that manually, but again, I recommend that you have your software provider do it. It's important to know that this list changes all the time. As an example, I just printed this out. You can see here that the Ukrainian and Russian related sanctions list, so that was obviously just added a few weeks ago. So you can't just depend on if a customer bought a vehicle or maybe you think they bought a vehicle a number of years ago, you still have to go through and scrub the name against the list. Interestingly, there are various phone numbers depending on which list they pop up on. So for example, the FBI Most Wanted list, you'd call the FBI. The Bank Secrecy Act and the U.S. Patriot Act people, you call the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN. And so you have to follow the instructions depending on what the OFAC alert says. OFAC alerts can also be vessels, organization names, and that kind of thing. I recommend that you, in your employee guidebook, that you make sure that all your employees are trained on this very important topic, and that they have, as always, a signature and acknowledgement form that says something like, OFAC is a part of the U.S. Treasury, which administers and enforces economic trade sanctions based on U.S. foreign policy and national security goals. I understand the company's policy on OFAC and will ask if I have any questions. I understand its importance and will comply with the company policies. So I recommend that on pretty much every policy that you have at the dealership. I'm Tom Klein. Thanks for staying tuned here in the South Florida edition. Hope you have a great day, and thanks for seeing things from a better vantage point.